Welcome to our series on Trends to Watch, Implications for 2014. A reminder that the focus of our planning efforts this year relate to issues most relevant to our work in the short term, extending out to 2014. The trends we will discuss today are already well established and warrant our immediate attention. In this segment, we will discuss major demographic shifts. Yes, an elephant in the room. While the trend always makes the list, we often fail to acknowledge the full ramifications that the changing demographies of our country are playing on our health, our well-being, and our lives. Demographic realities. Yes, believe it or not, we're getting older, but we're getting older fast. We've known that the boomers were coming for the past 60 years, but the flood of not only the 65-year-olds, but now the 85-year-olds and the 100-plus-year-olds means another fundamental societal shift. And the aging of America doesn't impact just a few communities. It impacts all communities. Lost investments, delayed retirements mean many older Americans are staying put, often in the suburbs where lack of transportation and convenient services bring dramatic challenges for individuals and communities. Because we all want to stay here, at home. AARP polls indicate that 90% of people strongly agree that they want to live out their lives in their own homes. Well, that's good news, since we don't have nearly enough elder housing available elsewhere. What happens with the aging community and the aging neighborhood begins to deteriorate, leaving crime, empty buildings, and lack of services? Or what about that house that was great for raising a family, but now has its own challenges, like too many stairs or too much space to heat and cool? Fortunately, there are solutions emerging. Good Gym, a program in England, pairs home alone elderly with local joggers who incorporate a short visit with the elderly in their runs. Technology like the Virtual Senior Center helped Milton and his peers, and CAST, another program that looks at telemedicine solutions, allow telemedicine, video, social networking, and access to the web to keep those aging in place connected. And more rapidly than we expect, robotics will be the home of the future. Beyond aging in place and the general aging of the United States economy, there is another demographic reality, and the continued, more rapid than expected based on the United States Census of last, the growth of Hispanics in all U.S. geographies. In fact, while the highest density of Hispanics remains in Texas and California, the highest rates of growth are in the South and Midwest. In new research by Pew, there is a high proportion of both English and Spanish-speaking Hispanics online, and mobile usage and video access is far higher than in other sectors. Marketers are quite aware of the growing economic power of the sector. Marketers are quite aware of the power of the sector as evidenced by recent ads by Coke and Adidas playing to the love of sports, especially soccer. But increasingly, ad agencies are taking on a much more sophisticated approach to the market, as seen as this ad from Allstate. While soccer and friendship remains a common theme, regardless of the approach, marketers are identifying not only the Hispanic market, but the growing ethnic diversity of the United States to be a prime candidate for growth as increasing dollars flow into those communities. Another factor in the changing face of America is a growing sense of urbanization, of repurposing spaces and places to create more vibrant, attractive, and engaging lifestyles. The wildly popular High Line in New York City is a repurposed elevated train line turned into a beautiful park, amphitheater, public space that has driven economic development along the entire corridor, and on a recent Sunday afternoon was packed with families, couples, and groups enjoying the space. Outdoor cafes are growing in popularity as the community connects more directly. And a new trend in many cities is pop-up parks, the repurposing of medians and other unused spaces to build attractive places for people to gather. At the same time, the suburbs have also seen incredible growth. Once the refuge of the middle-class commuter, increasingly the suburbs are home to first-generation immigrants, aging boomers, and telecommuters. And many urban centers are in severe decline. Detroit and other communities are taking dramatic steps to rebuild, redesign, and repurpose their communities, but much work is left to be done. However, there are tremendous examples of repurposing of place and space beyond our borders. This is a picture of Bogota, Colombia. For 40 years, Bogota has worked to create social equity, community, economic development, and health. They use the cicleria. Main streets are shut down to traffic on Sundays, and additional 130 kilometers of trails have been built. The city went from 0 bike commuters to over 300,000, or 5% of the population, and the Ministry of Health cites direct health benefits as a result of this initiative. Shifting demographics, the aging of America, the increasing role of multiple cultures, including Hispanic growth, and growing urbanization and decline of some of our urban and suburban spaces are important contextual shifts that influence our lives, our work, and our health. What do these opportunities present for the American Heart Association? What threats are presented? What is potentially the most disruptive aspect of these trends to our association, and what are the implications if they are to be ignored?